Good morning, my friends. Today we are getting a little fishy over here. And I was going to call this here fishy fishy, but I started painting and I added freckles to these fish. And I thought about why couldn't it be called freckle fish or spot, you know what I mean? Okay, so this is on a canvas. As you can see, a striped canvas. You can paint this on anything you want. It does not have to be canvas. It could be watercolor paper. It could be a panel board, a piece of wood, what have you. You do not have to do 5 fish. You could do 3. You could do 1. I always like odd numbers. They're a little bit more pleasing to the eye. But if you only drew out 2, so be it. That's fine. Fine. So to get started, we're going to talk a little bit about choosing colors first. I went with a neutral background for my water, which is kind of odd if you think about how, maybe normal people would choose blue or a blue-green color maybe for their water if it was supposed to be water. But I've got some little scratched in waves here, so it does look like water, gives it the impression. I went with warm colors on fish, and then I did cool colors. That's what I decided to do. So they kind of talk to each other, they dance, they move around. If you are at a loss at trying to figure out what kind of color palette should I use, I suggest you can look at, if you have a children's book, open it up and see what colors the illustrator used, or open up a magazine. Okay, let's look at this page right here. I'm trying to get this in the paint. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but we've got a lot of teal. Okay, we've got some orangey, yellowy color in here. Let's try and get that closer. There's reds, kind of an orange. So when I kind of squint my eyes, I see this color. Of course, I see it over here. So that's our aqua. I see the orange. I do see green. And I see this yellowy color. So this could become a color palette. And look at this. Here you have your warm colors, yellow and orange. And you've got cool colors, which are aquas, greens, and those are going to, they're kind of like polar opposites. Well, they are polar opposites. They're, warm colors versus cool colors. Let's find another one here. Look at this color scheme. This is kind of cool. You've got a dark burgundy with blues, grays, kind of a taupey color, kind of a burnt orange color, this kind of gray blue. So looking at this color scheme, you've got that dark burgundy, you've got dark blue, you've got this orangey color, which I hope you can see that, which is kind of, a lighter burgundy if you think about it. And then you've got this lighter blue. So let your eye look at different magazines, or, like a children's book or whatever. This one, I picked this. We're going to use this today. This picture of the front of a house is absolutely gorgeous. And what do I see here? I see green, lots of green. I see the lilac color. I see the pink in the flowers. Obviously I see the blue in the sky. And then this, that kind of taupey color. That could be a background, or your water, or your blue could be a water. So, you've got dark greens and light greens. You could have violet and a lighter purple, or purple and lighter and a violet. You could have pinks varying, okay, and your blues could vary. So that's just a good way to get your eyeball looking. And a lot of this is an HGTV magazine. Look at those colors. You've got neutrals with your pop of color. And sometimes even, like, look at this, isn't that cute? It's a dish towel. But then again, you've got your oranges and your yellows and your pinks, which are all warm colors, with your white and your black. So it's, you know, it's kind of fun to start. Oh, here it is. There are all your paint colors. You know, you could take this piece of paper, or I bet you could even print out little swatches and just cut them and arrange them. Start picking, you know, put all your neutrals together, put all your warm colors, all your cool colors, and then start pulling and saying, ooh, how can I mix that color? But aren't they pretty? Whew, okay, let's get enough on color. So look at magazines. Look at, what else could you look at? Children's books, wrapping paper, labels on cans. These people are into advertising, so they actually know what they're doing with color and making your eye visually interested in their product. So we're going to do fish now. Let's get started. This is a 10 by 20 canvas and it's long. I had to jack up my camera here for you this morning. I'm going to set this one aside. And you could do this on a square sheet. I'm going to go ahead and go over these with Sharpies to show you. This is just watercolor paper, and it's probably 9 by 12. How about on something small? You know, do one fish. Make a note card. These are those little fun canvas panels that came from Michael's. You could do these small scale, 3 fish. So to get started, and I'm just going to demo on this big one right here, because this is probably the size that you have. Let's find the middle, okay? And you can mark it with a pencil. That's about our middle. There you go. So we're going to start, and I'm going to make a torpedo, or a cucumber. And I'm not going to go all the way from edge to edge. I'm going to come in a little bit here because my tail is going to go off of this one. So I'm going to come and torpedo. All right. And then I'm going to come down here, and I want my tail on this end, so I'm going to make another torpedo. And then I'm going to make another torpedo up here. There you go. So you see, this fish is going to be pointing to the left, and I'll make a triangle shape. This one's going to be pointing to the right, triangle, and this one's going to be pointing to the right. Do you have to do them alternating? No, of course you don't. You do not have to do that at all. You can section off, maybe for a head if you want to. And there you go. You have torpedo fish and triangle tails. Do your tails have to look like that? No, of course they don't. They could look like, you could have them pointy. You could have them fluffy. Your fish, you could do, if this was my page right here, you could do a fat fish in the middle, a torpedo on the bottom, and, you know, kind of a, you could do 2 at the top if you want to, or just do another different one at the top. Makes no difference. These are your freckled fish. Okay, so once we have our little fishy fish drawn out, like I said, use any shape. I love square canvases. You could do this, put it in a shadow box. It would look adorable. You know I'm all about the shadow boxes these days. Okay, so my palette. I pulled from that house front. Remember, it had the purpley door, had the pink flowers, it had the greens, it had the blues and the skies. I didn't even put the taupey color on here yet. It's like, we'll just wait on that. So I am going to paint, and I'm going to use my warm colors on these 2 fish. So my warm colors are going to be my good old yellow and my pink. Oh, there go the dogs. Fabulous. Oh, husband's home. I'm going to close the door. Hopefully. Thank you. Okay, sorry about that. You can still hear them. So I'm going to paint the head yellow, and maybe I'll paint the tail of this one yellow. Okay, I'm going to wash, oh, don't want to do that? Yeah, that's fine. Then I'm going to wash this brush out, and I'm going to go with that pink. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about those dogs. And I'm going to do the head of this one pink, so face, and maybe the body pink on this one. Okay. Pink, pink, pink. And you're going to be going around this with another color, so it doesn't really matter if you stay in the lines. Now, I think I will lighten up my pink because I still want to go with pink, but I want it to be a little bit different on the body here. I'm just going to lighten that one up. Ta-da! Now, you could always come in with a little bit of dark and give it a little variation here and there. Alright, I'm going to go in with the light on my tail, a little bit lighter. Fill that one in pink. Now, when this is wet, you know you can always go in with your brush, add yourself some scales. That one's a little dry. Swiggles, 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 swiggles. So I'm going to go, so we got our warm colors, full warm. Now I'm going to go and do my cool colors. And I said I was going to do a purple, which we can bring purple in here as a cool purple. Add a little blue to it. We'll do the body, this purpley blue color. We even add a little bit more blue to it. I like that. Okay, so that's going to be our body. Oh, look at that. I just made, what are those things called? Gills. I'm going to leave it just like that. And I'm going to do the head and tail on this one, green. Some greenish color here. And I'm mixing it with a little yellow, just to make it a little bit limier. A little limey green. Okay, get that tail in there. Now remember, excuse me, when it's wet, you can make all sorts of great textures. I'll put the head in here. So I'm going to grab a little bit more yellow. And you notice I am not following in the lines. It's okay, you don't have to. And this one I'll put circles in. So we're going to go back and get them freckles. That'll look cool. Little repeating patterns here. Okay, so now you have your fish. That was pretty quick, wasn't it? Your outline, or your outline, background. Come on, Jenny, talk. So this one, I use kind of a taupey, mocha color, whatever you want to call it. It's just a light brown. So if you have brown, squirt some white in it and go for it. That will work. If you have a blue and you want to use a blue color, squirt some white in it so it's just a little bit more neutral. You can also squirt a little like a little raw umber into any color of your paint and it'll turn it more neutral. It just takes some of that oomph away. So let's see, what color we're going to paint this background. I say we do it like a light periwinkle. I'm going to add, I like some of that gray dirty water in there too. That's not too close to my blue there. I'm going to add in a little bit of this pinky color. Dull it down a little bit. Oh, now it's a kind of a gray. That's cool. Okay, so when you're doing this, if you want to scratch your waves, little waves of movement, I do it in sections so it doesn't dry up on me. You can keep that brush nice and soppy wet with your paint as you're going around. Now, my fish aren't even dry yet, and I'm picking up a little bit of the color when I paint. That's okay. It just gives it a little variety, a little color here and there. Get those little wavy waves in, and all we're doing is kind of going around. This color over here is now turning a little bit of a lilac-y color because I'm pulling in some of that pink. That's okay. It's fine. This is your painting. You could put a black background around these. I mean, you could literally do any color you want to. It really makes no difference because your fish, all you want your fish to do is pop. Pop off the page. Let's find some more color. I'm going to add a little green to it, make it a little bit murkier. Murky, murky. There we go. Go back over that and blend that in a little bit more. kind of like the color changing, little shifts as we're going along here. So now it looks like a putty color. It's fine. So we want something a little bit more neutral, so our fish do jump or swim off the page. Okay, remember, while it's wet, that's why I kind of do that in sections, because it will dry quickly. So now you are in the waiting game phase. Go hit it with a hairdryer. That's what I had to do this morning. I'm so impatient. So I did this one this morning. Pretty much the same idea. I used the same color palette that I had poured out for you guys. And I went back in with my white, and it wasn't even quite dry yet. So I may go back in on camera and add a second smattering of white. So I put just some dots on the end of the tail, because we're going to be using those fabulous paint markers for all of our detail work. I painted the eye. Now, when you take white and you go over a color, a dark color, especially the blue, it takes several coats, and I'm several times impatient. So I thought, why couldn't you do this? You get your good old matte medium, which I need to put my hands on real quick. Here it is. You get your matte medium. From my previous classes, you people have painted paper. I know you painted paper. So you could get just a piece of white paper, and I had some just a minute ago. I decided to tear out a big old bright white eye. Does it have to be perfect? No, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want to use scissors, you can. So why couldn't you put down white eyes and just forego painting the eye altogether? It will really make it pop too when you have that bright, bright white eye and you don't have this, you know, kind of painterly mess in there, because you have to kind of lay down a couple of coats to get it nice and crisp. Now I just pulled out some of my fun painted paper with the, daggone it, with the black and white bubble wrap prints that I love. Ah, here it is. So why couldn't you take a painted paper and rip some details and put on some scale work with your painted paper? Okay, get a little collage going on here. I love it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And I think I'll do 3 up here. Do I have them going the right way? Well, I think I'll make them go on like the bones here. Maybe I drew those wrong. I don't know. Anyway, makes no difference. But that black and white, I'm just a fan. I love. I could make black and white printed paper all day. Here I am this color, and I love black and white. All right. So how cool is that? So remember, you take your matte medium. You would apply it to your paper, put it down, go over it really well on the edges to seal it. Now remember, the matte medium is basically clear paint, so you're generous with it. It's not going to hurt anything. And if this piece is on, even if it's on a canvas, you'll go back with your varnish and you go on top of it. And we can paint right on top of this matte medium too, as soon as we apply it. Ta-da! Okay, let's do these real quick. Now I'm being sloppy generous with with this, because you want your edges down. Now, if some of your paper, this is kind of a, this is probably drawing paper that I use, like a 90-pound paper. That's what I use in the classroom too. but it's not your heavy. This wasn't my heavy watercolor paper. Sometimes if you get that watercolor paper, it is a little bit more difficult to get to stay down flat. You can really soak it with the matte medium, or you could even take it and wet it. If it's watercolor paper, wet it and let it sit for a couple minutes and let that water get into the fibers, and it'll make it a little bit nicer to work with. Okay, look at that. Isn't that cute? So this will dry. Then I will get to go back with my paint markers. By the beauty of video and television, I have already done one. This is the one I did earlier, but it's not dry yet. I have another one, believe it or not, here it is, that I did, that we're going to go and put the beautiful paint marker on, because that's the fun part, I think. All right, let me move all this stuff out of here. So, this eye got a little bit of yellow paint in it, but that's okay. So you can use your good old paint markers, your acrylic paint markers. You could use a Sharpie. I really like these markers. Oh, there we go. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start at the top because I am completely dry. Remember what will happen to your marker if you put it into wet paint. You will not be happy. I'm going to make a big old blob circle. I'm going to go around it twice. I like that fish eye. I think that's fun. You can trace around, you can go around your freckles. You don't have to go around your freckles. I just thought it looked cute on the first one that I did. You'll want to go around your fishy fish. Set it apart. If, you know what? If you're like, oh, my line is not perfect, it's okay. You know what you could do? Go over it again with a wiggly line. Check it out. Now it looks like you meant to do it. It's fun. Go around things twice. Give it some movement. Let it move. Little funny mouth. I'll go back on here. Find some more of these little things. Do you have to be so precise and careful? No. There you go. Look at that. Wiggle fish. These little things. Little rib bones, whatever I painted here. I don't know what I painted. Do you have to be precise? No. Go over them twice. Make it look like you meant to do it. There you go. So, we have one fishy fish done. Second fish. Little fish with freckles. Give that little baby a mouth. Swirly eye. I'm not even sure if that paint's dry. Jenny. Feels like it's dragging. How about eyelashes? Fish need eyelashes too. Come on around. I kind of like that thing that I did. I was going around it a couple times. It just makes it not have to be so tight and perfect. Because none of us are perfect, that's for sure. Alright, go around these babies. This paint marker may be on its last leg. We're going to try and push through here, girl. I learned that you can actually take the tips of these out and flip them. See how dull that tip is? Look at that one. Who knew? My tip is pretty again. Fishy, fishy, fish. Alright, I think I'll do that one wiggles. Might be a little much, but that's okay. Okay, last little baby. Eyeball. If you want to, you could leave a little white in the eye. A little highlight. Crazy circle, crazy circle. You could put little dots around your eye if you wanted to. You could add any patterns to these fish. Let's go around here. Changing my tip made it nice and small, so I'm definitely not going to get right on the lines like I would have. I like outlining these big patches right here. Just looks cool. Ziggy zag. Go around these. Yep. And I'm pretty loose. Like I said, I'm not. If you get to the point where you feel like you've got to stay in the lines like a coloring book, you've got to loosen up. Just loosen up. It's okay. So you could come back to. Let's see. Is this one activated? Oh, yeah, it is. Just shook white paint everywhere. Let's mix that white up. Sometimes your white paint wants to separate in here and not be white. So you could come back in with your white, put little dabs and dashes or what have you, if you wanted to, on a darker color. Put a little highlight in their eye. You could go around the edges again in white, just to let your eye know that these suckers are moving. And that it also hides any imperfections. Like if you're really concerned about those lines not being right on the edge of your, fish where you cut around it, there you go. Sign it and be done with it. So I hope you enjoyed this look at books, look at magazines. Just, you're driving around and you see a storefront or an ad, or you're shopping, look at a can, look at packaging. You will start to notice colors that work well with each other. Your eye is drawn to them. It tends to read them in a way that the marketing company wanted you. You're pulled to things that are eye-catching, and color will help you. It will do that for you. So have fun today with the fishy fish. I can't wait to see what you paint. Thank you guys for sending me all your good stuff. Like I said, you could make little tiny fishy fish ornaments. Hang them up. Oh, they'd be so cute. I'd love to see someone take a big old board. Maybe I'll have to do this today. Take a big board and just make one of these crazy fish on it and hang it up outside. That would be fabulous. And so easy. You're drawing torpedoes and triangles. People, you can do it. You can do it. I know you can. Have fun, and stay tuned, because we're going to be doing some more summery, beachy themed pink lady flamingos, some cute beach houses in a row. We'll be breaking into the patriotic side of a crazy grand old flag. So I'm real excited these upcoming next 8 weeks or so. So keep painting and spread the word, and have a great day. Have a great week, you guys. Bye.